For the past 3 years, I have posted 3 Instagram Reels a day, every single day, totaling over 3,000 Reels, taking up about 6 hours of my time every single week. I built a 5-person creative team. We had a studio space, and I systemized the entire process. So literally all I did was show up and just say specific words on a screen. And the investment seemed to be paying off. My Instagram was growing somewhat slowly. I had hundreds of thousands of views every single month. The engagement was decent. However, when I actually tracked back the sales that I was generating from Instagram, it was less than 15% of our top line revenue. Now, 15% is nothing to scoff at, especially if you're making millions of dollars every single year. However, it was taking up over 50% of my content creation time every single week, and that math just didn't work out. So on July 1st, 2025, I made a tough call. I decided to pause my short form content. I had to let go multiple team members, get rid of all of this camera equipment that I have, and really stop a part of me that was really part of my identity for so long. My creative director at the time told me that I was crazy, but 6 months later, we are on track to having our biggest month in business next month. On top of that, I feel so much lighter. I feel so much more free because even if we just take the revenue and business side out of it, I have recently reached a net worth where I don't necessarily have to work anymore based on my current burn rate. And when you reach that level of financial freedom, you start to ask yourself, why am I doing activities that I hate if they make me money when I don't necessarily need any more money? And short form content was one of those activities I hate. I honestly don't really like Instagram or TikTok. I don't like consuming it. I feel like it's taking a Dyson vacuum to my brain cells and sucking it out every single day. I feel bad after I finish like a session of watching that content. And I always hated trying to distill down 5+ years of business advice into 60-second reels and compete against, OnlyFans and cat videos. So how did I stop posting short form content, yet 6 months later be on track to be doing one of the biggest months in my business ever? Well, when I looked back at the data over the past 6 months and really over the past 2 to 3 years, I figured out that most people are focused on the wrong metrics. You see, when it comes to platform metrics, people usually look at number of followers or number of likes or how many comments that they get. But those are all really vanity metrics because when it comes to high ticket sales, the things that matters the most, the things that actually drive revenue is what I call average qualified consumption time. And that formula can be broken down very simply. You have the average minutes watched per person. So how long is somebody spending with your brand? And you have the audience quality. How qualified is that person that's watching those minutes? Let me break down both of these metrics so you understand them completely. Average minutes watched. Why is that so important? Well, when you break down the first principles reasoning why everybody needs a marketing and sales process, it's because you want to give enough information to the prospects that they are ready to buy your goods or services. And first principles is just a fancy way of saying what is the most basic reason why people do things. So the first principle reasons why you have ads and content and a video sales letter and a sales process and a sales pitch and this specific proposal that goes over these specific things is because you're trying to give enough information to your prospect that they feel comfortable buying your stuff. Well, Google's actually come out with a specific number that people need in order to be comfortable buying something. And they say that on average, it's about 7 hours. So it takes about 7 hours for one person to consume of your content for them to buy your stuff. Well, let's compare these two platforms and you decide which one do you think it's easier to get 7 hours of content with your prospects. You have Instagram on the left and you have YouTube on the right. On Instagram, you get 1 million views, either in one video or a month or whatever else it is. And each person is watching 30 seconds of your video. They're being exposed to your brand for 30 seconds. Well, this is the metric that everybody loves to tout. Oh, well, we're getting 8,333 hours consumed from this content. Well, yippee, this is fantastic. This is what convinced me to create so much content on Instagram and TikTok for so many years. That's a lot of time people are watching your content. But is it though? The average person is spending 30 seconds with you. The average person. So every single person is spending 30 seconds with you. You answer this question for me. Is 30 seconds enough time to have enough exposure to a brand to buy something for $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000? If it takes 7 hours of content, how many 30-second reels does this person need to see on average for them to buy your stuff? Now, let's compare it with YouTube. On YouTube, you only get 10,000 views, which is not a lot. This could either be in one video, this could be for the full month, whatever else it is. But each person is watching your video for 5 minutes on average. So although you have only 833 total hours viewed, the average person is watching your content for 5 minutes. So as you can see, it's going to be way easier to get that person to 7 hours of content from YouTube, each person watching 5 minutes, than from Instagram, each person watching for half a minute. Now, I know, I could hear you guys in my comments already. Yeah, Ravi, but it's 10 times harder to make a YouTube video than it is to make an Instagram reel. Well, after posting over 600 YouTube videos and 3,000 Instagram reels and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on those platforms for my content teams over the past couple of years, I can say unequivocally that they both take probably the same amount of time. If anything, it actually takes longer to do short form content than it does to do long form content. Let me explain. You see, although the average Instagram reel is only 60 seconds or 90 seconds long, that's not how long it takes you to film it. There's something called activation energy. Activation energy is how much energy is required to even get something going. So although a lot of people might have you think that you can just roll out of bed, flip your camera to you and start talking, that's not a bad way to start on Instagram. But if you're really trying to compete and get the million views or tens of millions of views required to get that average person to watch 7 hours of content, you're going to be needing to compete at the highest level possible. You're going to need to be creating high production content that engages people and has them watching every single second. Because remember, you're competing with everybody else out there. You're competing with OnlyFans girls. You're competing with dog videos. You're competing with all these different things for all these people who have incredibly short attention spans. And so for me, back when I was filming Instagram reels, I told you it took me roughly 6 hours a week to film about 21 Instagram reels. And that was with a content researcher, a videographer, a creative producer, an editor, a publisher, a social media manager. With all of that stuff in place, it was still taking me 6 hours. So why was it taking me 6 hours? Well, first of all, you have to get everything set up. And then you can't just do the exact same shot 21 times. You got to do different angles, different outfits. You got to have props. You got to be doing different jump cuts and scenes. And you got to do a lot more creative thinking because you're creating 21 pieces of content. So all the time, even from some of my clients, I hear people say, oh, it's just easier to make short form content. But I would argue the opposite. It's actually easier to make long form content. For example, on YouTube, I don't even have a content team. It's literally just me. I sit down, I create boring videos like this, and I get really qualified people to watch long form videos with minimal editing with only 1 to 2 hours a week of my time. Actually, as a totally shameless plug, if you are a big business who wants to start leveraging YouTube to get a higher return on your ad spend and start bringing in higher quality clients with less work than you would on any other platform, we are a totally done for you YouTube agency where we systemize the entire process. All you do is sit down and record, and you can, in less than 2 hours a month, get all of the YouTube content that you need to grow your business. If you want to learn more about that, click the link in the description down below. And finally, the pièce de résistance, the reason why I would spend all my time on YouTube versus on Instagram or other short form content platforms is because on YouTube, you can repurpose those clips for short form content, but on short form content, you cannot repurpose that for YouTube. Meaning that if you were going to invest, let's say 2 hours a week into content creation, which I know a lot of busy business owners only have that, well, then you might as well do the one where you get the maximum return on your time. Oh, and speaking of maximum return on your time, here's an interesting study. Scott Graffis at scottgraffis.com does this every single year, and he essentially analyzes what is the half-life of a social media post by platform. If you don't know what half-life is, it's essentially how long does it take for that piece of content to get 50% of the total engagement and reach that it's ever going to get. It's kind of a scientific term. They use it a lot in like prescription drugs and stuff, but it's the easiest way to figure out what the lifetime of something is. So if we look at this 2025 study, you can see Instagram here is 19 hours. For 50% of all the engagements that your post is going to get, it's less than 1 day. Now, let's compare that to YouTube. On YouTube, it is 9.67 days, essentially 10 times longer than your Instagram posts. So if we go back to the small resource that you have, AKA time, you have 2 hours every single week. Wouldn't it make sense to invest that time somewhere where not only do you get more minutes per person than the other platform, but also where your piece of content lasts 10 times longer than the other platform? Okay, let's go back to my formula for the average qualified consumption time, what I consider to be the most important on-platform metric. We've already talked about average minutes viewed. Let's now talk about the audience quality. Now, the audience quality is simple. How qualified are the people that are seeing this content? For example, let's say that I was a real estate advertising agency. I charge $2,500 a month for a 3-month contract with a total contract value of $7,500. This is actually a true story back on my first business that I ever launched, which was this agency. Where do you think I'm going to have the best chances of closing a real estate agent for $7,500? I'll have three options. The first is I walk to a city corner, I hold up a sign, and I say real estate leads for $2,500. I might get some people there, but oh my God, there's going to be so many people walking by. It's just a boring sign. Nobody cares. And so I'm probably going to get almost zero sales. The second option would be that somehow I get access to, let's say, some kind of beginner real estate coaching program. And I'm able to go in there every single week and teach these people something or show them some content. These are all people who are just getting started into real estate as real estate agents. Now, those people are qualified in the sense that they're real estate agents, where me standing on the street, I might just be showing my sign to only 1% of people who are real estate agents. But financially, these people are all just starting in real estate. So they probably can't afford $2,500 a month, let alone the $7,500 total contract that I need from them. Final example, let's say I get access to some kind of high-level mastermind for real estate agents doing over $1 million a year in total commissions. Do you think that if I was able to teach at that mastermind my strategies, I might be able to close a couple of clients? Absolutely. In all three examples, let's say that I spent the same amount of time and the average person saw me for the same amount of time. Well, wouldn't it be important then to take into account how qualified the audience is? Exactly. That's why that's included in this formula. Now, I could go on for ages with anecdotal evidence about why short form platforms have the most unqualified people on there. You have people literally scrolling every 2 seconds to a new reel. The platform's just feeding it to them. They're like little rat monkeys, like just clicking the button for more dopamine every 2 seconds. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use hard data. The 2 points of hard data I'm going to use is number one, my own internal data. Like I told you before, less than 20% of the revenue that our company was taking in was coming from Instagram. And it wasn't from a lack of posting. It was because number one, people were spending very little time with us. And number two, the leads that did come from Instagram, the percent of those that were actually qualified was insanely low. Now, the second piece of data, which is going to be just more broad-based for everybody here, is this Pew Research study. This shows you the percent of US adults who say they ever use blank social media platform by household income. Now, I think we can all agree the most basic level of qualification for your prospects or leads is going to be financial. There's no point in selling something for $7,500 if the person has $0 to their name. So if we look at household income by social media platform, you can see that on Instagram, roughly 60% of people that are making over $100,000 a year use Instagram. Okay, that doesn't sound so bad, except for when you compare it to YouTube, where 89% of those people are using YouTube that make over $100,000 a year. So going back to your return on effort, when you only have so much time every single week to commit to content, wouldn't it make sense to post it on the platform where literally 90% of people earning over $100,000 a year are on versus one where 60% of people making over $100,000 a year on? Now, to be fair, there are really 2 times when creating short form content I think makes sense. Number one, when you're able to repurpose your long form content. Like I said earlier, this is actually what we do for our clients at our Done For You YouTube agency. We take the time that they're spending on their YouTube content and we don't ask for any more time from them, but we're able to turn those YouTube videos into short form content. So it's no more amount of work for you, but you can still get the benefits of that omnipresence that you get from being on all platforms at once. The second exemption is what I call the unlimited resources section. And this is really where a lot of you guys get trapped. You see, you look at all of your favorite big influencers and gurus out there, the people that you look at on a daily basis, and you say, well, Well, they're on every single platform. I should be on every single platform. But you don't understand that they have virtually unlimited resources. I mean, a lot of these people are spending over $100,000 a month just on content. They have 10, 20, 30-person content teams. And here you are trying to literally grow and scale your business, all the things that come with that. And you're trying to invest a little bit of time, a little bit of money across all of those platforms at the same time, and you wonder why you're seeing no traction. So here's my challenge to you. If you aren't creating content right now, or you're creating content just on short form platforms, hopefully I have convinced you that it's important to at least start on YouTube. And I really would challenge you to pause your short form content so you can spend the amount of time and energy required on YouTube to see results. And if you are already on YouTube and you're spending some of your time on short form content, or you're thinking about going to short form content, I would challenge you to wait. Take that extra 1 to 2 hours a week that you were going to spend on short form content and go deeper on YouTube. Make better quality videos, do more content research, get better editing, whatever it's required to see that compounding results that YouTube can give you. I have videos that I've created literally 3 to 4 years ago that are still bringing me high ticket clients today from YouTube. And if you're a bigger business and you want all of these benefits from YouTube without any of the work required, go down below and book a call with our team where we can show you our 100% done for you YouTube process so that all you have to do is show up and read a script on camera.